And next topic, guys, that we are moving, we are going to start looking into the operators, okay? And there's a different set, right? There's a different variety of operators in Java we have, right? A very first easy operator, right, which we already been using, guys, it's an assignment operator, right? So that's why, guys, we say we assign, right? This equal sign serve as a assignment operator, right? I'm assigning a value to my variable b. I'm assigning a value to my variable name, right? So very simple and easy. It just, we did not know it before. We were just using an equal, but it actually serves as an assignment operator, right? So another set of the operators, and this is, you guys all know, comes from the math, right? It's arithmetic operators, right? Okay, and arithmetic operators, guys, in our programming is going to work exact the same way as they work in math, right? So arithmetic operators, right? And let me create a class, right? Arithmetic operators. And don't be scared, guys. Don't be scared. We won't be doing that much of the arithmetic operators, right? But we have to make sure we learn them, right? You have to make sure we learn them. Okay? So arithmetic operators exact the same as we have in the math, right? We have addition, we have subtraction, we have multiplication, we have a division, right? And we have modulus, right? So now yeah, math is not going to leave you. Right, math is not going to leave you. Okay, so now, guys, when we talk about the arithmetic operators, right? So arithmetic operators, they are applicable for numeric type of values, right? So, and we know that numeric type of values, they're represented as a part of the primitives, right? And those numeric values, we have byte, short, integer, long, and we have double, float, and double in the float, right? So it means on any of those numeric values, we can perform, right? We can perform arithmetic operators, right? And the easy, guys, the easy work exact the same way. For example, right? Let's take integer a, right, equals to, I don't know, 90, and let's take integer b equals to 100, right? So, right, arithmetic operators, right? So what I can do, I can say this O, right? I can say this O, a plus, right? A plus, okay? So, and you guys, of course, you guys would know what will be the output, right? If I'm going to run it, right? So I'm going to get 190, right? I'm going to get 190. And exact the same way is going to work our subtraction, right? Our division and our multiplication, right? So, or maybe let's take a bigger number and here, right? So this way we can see a minus b, right? If I'm going to do this O, a multiplied by b, and then this O, a divided by b, right? A divided by b. Okay, so if I'm going to run it right here, right, exact the same result as we have it as in the math, right? Okay, exact the same result, right? So nothing new here, right? Nothing new here. Okay, so okay. Well, now when you guys work with the numbers, you don't want to have 900 and 100 output, right? So that's why we always say assign a correct value, assign a value to the correct data type, right? So this way, later we can perform on every single data type, we can perform a specific actions, right? Specific actions, okay? So now we can just practice a little bit also, guys. What if I want to do it this way, guys, right? So I want to take an actually, let me create another variables, integer c equals to 10, right? Integer D equals to 3, right? D equals to 3. Okay, so and now what if I want to say, hey, the result of C plus D, I want to store inside of the variable and a variable sum, right? So now tell me, guys, why my Java is complaining right now? Can you guys tell me? Because I did not specify a data type. Remember, guys, now back to the basics, right? A part before the assignment, right? The part before assignment, it's a variable declaration. Now, in order for me to create a variable or to declare a variable, this is the syntax I must follow, right? I have to give a name. I have to specify a data type. What do you guys think would be a data type of the sum? It will be integer. Of course, guys, it will be integer, right? So why it would be integer? Because a value C is of the integer type, right? It's a 10. A value D is of the integer type, right? When you do an addition of two integers, of course, at the end, we're going to get an integer, right? And the same thing, for example, any other operations you want to do, C minus D, of course, if you want to store the result in here, it will be also an integer, right? It also will be an integer. And now we can do sys_o, and we can do the sum, right? And sys_o, we can do the sum, right? We can do the sum, right? There you go, right? This is our math operators, right? This is our math operators, okay? This is our math operator, okay? So, and one more operator, guys, is remainder, right? Remainder. What is the remainder, guys? What is left over? What is left over after what, guys? After the division, right? The leftover after a division, right? So, for example, right? For example, let me take integer A, B, C, D, right? Integer E, right? Integer E. Integer E equals to 10, right? Integer F equals to 5, right? So now if I'm going to do sys_o, right? So I'm going to do E divided by F. What am I going to see as an output, guys, on my line 27? I'm going to see 2, right? Because if I'm going to take 10, if I'm going to divide it 10 by 5, the result of the division will be 2, right? The result of my division will be 2, right? So now, what if instead of the division, I'm going to add a remainder? I'm going to say E, right? And how do we specify a remainder? We are specifying a modulus operator, right? It's a modulus operator we specify using this operator, right? Modulus E mod 2, right? Oh, sorry, E mod 2, E mod F, right? So what will be the result, guys? Here, right, we are going to get as an output as 2. Here, we're going to get an output as 0, right? Because we know if I'm going to take 10, if I'm going to divide it 10 by 5, I know there's no remainder, right? I know there's no remainder right here, right? So what I'm going to get? I'm going to get 0, right? So let's say remainder equals to what? Equals to 0, and here's a division equals to division, right? Equals to division. division, the result of the division will be 2, okay? And the remainder will be 0, right? This is our modulus, right? This is our modulus, and the modulus shows the remainder, right? Modulus shows the remainder, okay? So what if I'm going to change, right? What if I'm going to change my, let me do with these values, guys, okay? Let me do these values, right? I want to take C, I'm going to say C mod 3, right? So basically what I'm taking 10, right? Dividing it by 3, and I'm going to say, hey, what is the remainder, right? Well, let me just even name it remainder, okay? So what will be the output in here, guys? What will be the output in here? Let me add a little line to separate my examples, guys. Is all, right? Right? So in here will be 1, right? So in here will be 1, because what are we doing? We're saying, hey, if I'm going to take 10, right? If I'm going to take 10, I'm going to divide 10 by 3, right? So what will be the remainder? Remainder will be 1, right? Remainder will be 1. Okay. Cool. Right? So in here, what it shows, remainder is equals to 1, right? So, and we can practice many times, guys. I mean, this is just how you guys, exactly the same way how you guys learn it in school, right? So for example, what if I'm going to take 20 mod 4? What would be the remainder, guys? Remainder is 0, right? Because we know that is 20. If you're going to divide 20 by 4, we know that there is no remainder, right? We know that there is no remainder. There you go, 0. What if I'm going to do 20 mod 7? It will be 6, right? If I take 20, I divide it by 7, right? So I know I'm going to get 2 in there, right? And what is the leftover? Leftover is 6, right? Leftover is 6, right? 6, right? So it's just the way it works, right? What if I'm going to do 9, guys? It will be 2, right? It will be 2, right? If I'm going to divide 20 by 9, what is left? Left is 2, right? Left is 2. So this is we are clear, right? So they work exact the same way, right? Exact the same way, okay? So now a little thing I wanted to show you guys when we will be using a division, okay? When we will be using a division. So if I'm going to, right? Let me do this, guys. This is all. Actually, let me use it inside the variables. Let me take this a little bit up, and I'm going to work so this way I don't want to change the values because I don't want to confuse you guys. Not really confuse you, but okay, I'm just doing this line so this way you guys in my console we can see separate examples, separate outputs, right? Okay, right? So this example, when I use the variable c, right, equals to 10, variable d equals to 3, right? So we know how sum works, we know how sub works, we know the division, we know the remainder is going to show in here as 1, right? Remainder, oops, sorry, is it showing the last one? C, D, 7, remainder, 10 divided by 3. Why does it show us? Why does it show? One moment, guys. I just want sum is equal plus sum. Okay. Where's my two? Oh, that's why I'm like, why it shows 2? Okay, this shows from here. That's why I'm like, what's wrong with it? Okay, I got confused in here. That's why I'm like, is there something wrong with my math? Okay, this one shows me 2. Okay, this one shows me 2, right? Okay. There you go, right? So this is all makes sense, right? Sum of this 10 and 3, of course, will show 13. Sub is equals to 7. Remainder is equal to 1, right? But now let me actually add a division, guys. Let me add a division. So if I'm going to say, hey, C divided by D, right? And I'm dividing 2 integer values, right? I'm dividing 2 integer values, and it will be a division here, right? So now I would like to print my division. This is all. Division equals to division. Okay. So what do you guys think will be the output? Right. So the output in here in my division will be 3, right? A division will be 3. Now let's think of it why it's 3, right? So technically when we're going to divide, right, when we're going to take a 10, we're going to divide it by 3, we're going to have 3, then 0.3333, whatever, right? So now remember guys, 3.3333, right? So now 3.333, it's becoming a decimal, right? But remember guys, what we are dealing with the integers, right? So now integers can represent only, right, whole numbers. So that's why what we would notice guys, we would notice there's an issue, okay? When you guys going to try to divide, right? When we're going to try to divide your integers, right? So basically the way Java is going to do it, is going to cut it, right? It's like, I don't need you to change 33333, right? It's just going to keep the whole number, right? It's going to, because it just simply doesn't even have a capacity of whole decimals, right? That's why in here you guys going to get 3, right? In here you guys going to get a result 3. In here mod you guys going to get the result equals to 1, okay? Equals to 1, okay? So that's why guys, what we're noticing, there's a problem, right? So there's a problem in division. So anytime if you know you would have to perform any arithmetic operations, and those arithmetic operations would include some division, multiplication, right? So especially division, right? So what we would suggest, always try to go with double. Why? Because integer, it's simply just going to keep a whole number. It's not going to round up, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to cut it in there, keep your change, and it's going just to show you a whole number, right? So this way, let me try to show you a double, guys. Double num1 equals to 10, right? Double num2 equals to 3, right? And I'll just add it in the sys guys, and I'm just going to say num1 divided by num2, right? And let's see the output. Let me just show it like that. That's where guys we are having all this 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, that's where guys we have it now. So that's why guys, always try to use double when you would have to perform some operations. Okay, some operations. Also guys, from this example, let me see you guys are typing something there. Oh, sorry, not the remainder, guys. Sorry, I mistyped it. Remainder. what if we know for sure if it's integer? Okay, no, usually Zina, the way we do it, for example, you know, you would have to work on some calculator application. You would have to work, you know, you would have to deal with the numbers. Easier way, just go with the double, okay? No, mostly it's only about the division, okay? About the division, okay? So, what if we want to have 90, 100 output and not 190? Okay, Alan, we can look into that, right? We can look into that, right? So, I mean, if you want to print out 90 and 100, you can just add space between them, and that's how you can print them, right? How come output changed? Outcome. Lubna, what do you mean the numbering is the same? The numbering is not the same, right? So this is the result of when we're using 10 and 3, right? This is the result when we're using 10 and 3, and they are integer type of values, right? So here we are using a double type of values, okay? Here we're using a double type of values, right? Here you're doing arithmetic operations on integer type of values. Here you're doing arithmetic operations on the double type of values. Okay, Andres, please send a screenshot in the support, okay? They will help you out. Okay, you did not catch the you did not catch the remainder, right? Remainder. Okay, Andres versus. Yeah, because I changed the values, right? I changed the values. Minus, your shows is minus 90 because after that I changed the values just to have the positive numbers. Because at first I did it 90 and 100, and then I changed it to 900, 100. So your outcome could be different, but it's just this is math, right? So this is math, and it's exactly how it works in there. Okay. No, you guys can just watch. You guys can just observe, right? There's not much you guys can type in here, right? You can type in here. So I will go back to the reminder, guys. I will go back. So I will go back to the remainder, but let me show you one thing, guys. Let me show you. Okay, a team would need to look into your code. It's very small. It's very small for me. But just look at it. Just simply does addition or subtraction or division or trying to find the remainder. So, okay. So I hope you guys are not confused about this part. So if you are confused about this part, there's not much I can help, right? But I will explain the remainder. Okay. Okay. So now, before I go back, why do we name 10 and 3 double? Okay, so this is what I wanted to try to show you guys. Okay, so this is what I wanted to try to show you. Okay, so maybe a part, let me add zeros, guys. Let me add zeros so you guys don't get confused. Okay, in the next class, I will explain you why I were actually able to add 10. But for now, let me add those zeros. Okay, let me get those zeros. Okay, so what I wanted to show in here, right? What I wanted to show in here, right? Anytime we have integer type of values, right? Integer type of values, integer values, it means numeric values that can represent a whole number, right? So now anytime we work with the numeric values, we can perform any of these arithmetic operations, right? And what we notice that, hey, whenever we're doing a division of the integer type of values, because integers simply, guys, don't have a capacity of keeping those decimals, right? Integer can hold only whole numbers. So that's why when we saw the output division is, we saw a number 3, right? We saw a number 3. and we were like, where's the rest of the change? Because it's not the exact output, right? So, and that's where we notice that there's an issue when we are dividing two integer values. So in order for us to overcome, right, in order for us to overcome those issues, instead of using integers, we can easily use double, right? So now what I can do, I can take 10, I can take 3, okay? I can take 10, I can take 3, but also if I, okay, I'll explain you that next class, okay? So now I'm having 10 and I'm having 3. Now when I put my values inside the double, right? Now when I put my values inside the double type of variable, now my output is correct, okay? Now my output is correct. Now because a double, it's a bigger box, right? And double have a capacity of showing all those decimals, okay? All those decimals, okay? Yes, divisions will be decimals, right? That's why it's better to use it, okay? Okay, I hope it's good. I'll go back to the, we will do a few practice of the remainder, guys. Yes, yes, so you see, guys, for the integers, division will be just 3, right? Division will be just 3. Division of integers. Integers, and here I'm going to add division of double, okay, or of decimals, right? Whatever. There you go, right? Here, right? Integers just show you a whole number. Keep your change, keep your 3, I don't need it, right? But when it comes to using a double data type, right, you would be able to see all these 3s, okay? You can still do the remainder, guys. You guys can still do the remainder, right? So let's do a remainder on the double, right? So let's do a remainder of the double, right? So we're going to do num1 mod num2, right? We can still do the remainder. The only difference is what you guys would see right now. It will be because it's a double type of value, right? Instead of being 1, it's just going to be 1, 0 because it's a double, represents a decimal values, right? That's all. Okay. So the difference you guys mostly just going to see between the double and an integer when we're going to use a division. Okay. Okay, so before we're going to do a little more practice, guys, with the remainder, just to a quick recap, right? What I would like to show you guys now, when we actually dealing with the division, guys, I will be able to show you an actual difference, right, between a double and a float, right? Yesterday I told you guys what is the difference between the double and the float. Of course, is a memory size, right? So a double is a bigger data type compared to the float, right? And then on yesterday's slides, guys, this is what we saw, right? This is what we saw on yesterday's slides. It says float versus double. Float will give 5 to 6 decimal places of the accuracy, but double will give you 4 to 16 places, right? So let me try to show you guys. I'm going to take exact the same values, but I'm going to represent them as a float, okay? As a float. Using float data. Okay. This is just message for us to see in the console. So because there's a lot of printouts we have, so this way you guys know, right? So now what I'm going to do, exact the same values I'm taking, guys, but I am representing them in the float data type, right? Number 1 equals 10.0, and I would have to add f, remember guys, right? And then I'm going to take float number 2, right? and I'm going also to take 3. Right? Or we said it can be upper F or it can be lower F, it does not matter, right? And I'm going to perform exact the same operation, guys. I'm going to perform exact the same operation. What I'm going to say, I'm going to take number 1 and I'm going to divide by number 2, right? And let me add this message. I'm going to say division of float. Okay, right? So just to show you the difference between double and between the float, right? A values are exactly the same, 10 and 3. A values are exactly the same, 10 and 3. I am doing arithmetic operation, division, division. Now let's see the result. Okay, so this is what we notice, guys. When we're doing a double, you guys see how many decimals it shows me, right? And we're doing a float, this is how many decimals it shows. That's why what you guys saw on the slides yesterday, it's saying float versus double. Float will give you 5 or sometimes 6 decimal places, and double will give you up to 14 and 15. And that's what you guys seen it in here too. 2, 4, 6, it even has 7. Okay, and when you count in here, it's probably about 15. Okay, yep, it's just less, right? Float is a smaller data type compared to a double. Okay, compared to a double. Okay, so this is the difference between the double and the float, but the rest would be exact the same, right? Let me do a remainder. Remainder, you guys would see exactly the same, right? And you guys going to see number 1, number 2. Okay, here the outcome would be the same. Okay, 1.0, 1.0, right? But the only differences between double and float you see in the places of accuracy, and between double and an integer, integer of the division just going to show a whole number. It's not going to show us the change, and the remainder of course will be just 1. Okay, remainder will be just 1. Harris, you mean how can we round it, right? Instead of seeing more, there's a lot of functions we can do, guys. Once we start learning more and more into details, there's a lot of things, of course, guys, with the numbers we can do. We can round them up and we can do other stuff. Okay? What if we use double for first number? Okay, Alam, if you're going to mix it, okay, if you're going to mix it, I can show you a little bit in the other class, because that actually would be a topic a little bit about the casting part, okay, a little bit about the casting, and we can look at that. Okay, so what is used more in terms of the double and the float? If that's the questions between double and the float, double is used more. What is used more between this arithmetic operators, guys? That would depend on our task, right? That would depend on the task, that depend what we would like to achieve. Okay, so but they're all very popular, the way they're very popular operators, right, that are used in math, the same way they in here, very popular operators that can be used in coding. Okay, right, so remainder, right? Remainder, right? How do we specify the remainder, right? We're using this is mod operator, right? This is mod operator that we're going to use, right? So mod operator. Remainder shows it, I mean, as the name speaks, right? It shows the what's left after the division, right? The remainder shows what's left after the division, right? And we can just practice, right? So we know, for example, if I'm going to do 6 mod 3, right? So what would be the remainder? I know is there basically remainder of what is left over after a division, right? So I know if I take 6 and if I try to divide it by 3, I know 6 is equally divisible by 3, right? 2 times, right? So this way there's no remainder, right? This way there's no remainder, right there, right? It will show me 0, right? It will show me 0. So now the moment I'm going to change it my 3 to 4, right? So now what is the remainder, right? What is the remainder? So if I take 6, I divide it by 4, right? So how many times 6 is equally divisible by 4? 1 time, right? So what is the leftover of that division? A leftover of that division would be 2, right? The leftover of that division will be 2, right? If I'm going to take 5, right? Okay, if I divide 6 by 5, what is the remainder? What is the left, right? What is the left in there? Left is 6, right? Left is 6. Oh, sorry, 6. Left is 1. Sorry, guys, 6, right? For example, if I'm going to take 16, right? I'm going to take 16. Hey, 16 mod 2, right? So now if I divide 16 by 5, right? So how many times I can divide it, right? 3 times. 16 divided by 5, there's a equal 3 times, right? Which will give me 15. So now what is the remainder? 16 minus 15 will give me 1, right? Will give me 1. There you go, right? And if I'm going to do 4, guys, what is the remainder? Now it will be 0, right? If I'll take 16, can I divide 16 by 4 without any leftovers? Yes, right? We know that 16 is divided by 4 times. It's equally divisible, right? So now if I'm going to 16 by 4, it will show me 0, right? It will show me 0. What if I do 16 mod 13, guys? It will be 3, right? It will be 3. So if I'll take 16, right? If I'll take 16, right? If I'll take 16, I want to divide 16 by 13, right? I'm going to have 1, and then 16 minus 13, and 3 will be left, right? And 3 will be left. And this is how I learn math. I'm sure you guys probably learn it a different way, okay? Right? So don't be too scared, guys. Don't be too scared. Are we going to use a lot of this mod? Not really, but there will be some specific scenarios, right? Just maybe 1 or 2 particular scenarios. But basically here, what we're trying to show you that math operators, they work exactly the same way as in programming, okay? So, and if you were not that really good in math, don't worry, guys. We won't be using that much when it comes to actual test automation. Maybe, guys, maybe if you later would turn into development, right? Or probably also depend on what type of application you guys would be using, what type of application you would be testing. There could be a potential where you're going to use it a lot, okay? But throughout the course, we won't be using that much of the math, so don't be scared. You guys, whenever you guys want to practice different variations, you guys can try to do it. Okay? You guys can try to do it. Okay, but don't get surprised sometimes if you guys might see a little bit different stuff. Okay, compared to the math. But when you work with the positive numbers, it would work. It will work exactly the same way.